Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV and Radio, where wisdom meets experience. Join a dynamic lineup of thought leaders, professionals, and changemakers from around the world. Dr. Madeline Chan from the UK, Mariska Dupreya from Australia, Red.olaughlin from Texas, USA, Carolyn Heward from the UK, Zunette Lub from Cape Town, South Africa, as they share expert insights, personal journeys, and impactful strategies for success. Talking Heads isn't just a show, it's a global stage for education, collaboration, and inspiration. So elevate your knowledge, expand your perspective, engage in conversations that matter. Streaming globally, empowering locally, this is Talking Heads, only on USA Global TV and Radio.
red.olaughlin here. We're on Talking Heads, and today is my show to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Today, it's called Unlock Your Longevity Potential. I research the human body at the cellular level, and I'm looking always, how can we improve our longevity? How can we improve the quality of our life? We don't want the last 4, 5, 6, 10 years, somebody absolutely having to take care of us, change our diaper, take everything. We don't want that. We want a good quality of life. So with that, I'm going to just jump into the show because we've got a lot to talk about today. The program you're seeing today is live streaming. It's not a podcast. It is available on podcast down the road, but right now today, Amazon Fire, Zizzle TV, E360 TV, YouTube, a couple of channels on YouTube, Android TV, Apple TV, social media. I have it simulcast on 2 of my Facebook channels, and there's more. Everything I'm talking about today is for awareness and education. My website is red.olaughlin.com. That's R-E-D, like the color, O'Laughlin, OLAUGHLIN.com. So red.olaughlin.com. All my contact information there. My preferred method is just give me a call on the phone. It's on my website, or email me. Those are the 2 preferred ways of going. All my books are available there, and I got about 1,500 blogs on my website. The USA Global TV and Radio Network is found on YouTube. We have a couple of channels there that these are live broadcast on. The archives, all the shows are there. I also have some archive shows on my website, red.olaughlin.com. I'm a researcher. I've never been in the medical or pharmaceutical fields. I fell in love with chemistry in sophomore year in high school. I got my first degree in it. I have a total of 5 academic degrees, 7 professional certifications, and my non-academic, non-military background, my civilian background, was mostly in quality engineering, reliability engineering, logistics engineering, management of all of those. So that's where my background is. That's where most of my interest has been for 30 plus years of my life. I retired from 31 years in the Navy. I've been to 62 countries, got an invitation to Vietnam and Bosnia. I retired as a Navy captain, and I flew for 16 years. I specialize in cause and effect relationships. Chemically speaking, I look at what happens in the body at the cellular level. When you can treat a cause, you have a pretty decent chance of actually fixing something. But if you're just treating symptoms, the biggest problem is the cause is still there. You're treating the symptom, but the cause can get worse. Been married 57 years, a couple kids, 3 grandkids, and 1 great-grandson. Getting ready to celebrate his 2nd birthday here in about a couple, 3 or 4 months. Not very far. It just seems like he's growing like a weed. Best-selling book of 6 books, independent publisher, published over 50 books so far for other people. also a book coach and distinguished Toastmaster. I've written over 1,000 original content articles on LinkedIn, most dealing with some aspect of health and wellness. On the USA Global TV and Radio Network, I'm an international TV host. My programs came up with number 2 and number 6 last year in 2024, and for the first 6 months of 2025, I was ranked number 1. So let's get into this. I wrote a book several years ago called Longevity Secrets of Healthy Aging: How to Live to 100 Years of Age with the Body of a Healthy 50-year-old and the Mind of a 25-year-old. And so if you're looking at what can you do, that's a decent book. It's there. I'm in the process of updating it. But if you want to unlock your longevity potential, what causes you to age is the thing you need to start with. Again, this information we're providing today is for educational purposes only. What is aging? What mandatory action is absolutely necessary for great health? Are there some lifestyle enhancers that you can, our daily choices we make? Is there some things we should avoid? How do we monitor ourselves effectively? How much balance is really required? Are there some benefits to supplements and interventions? And I want to take a look at some action plans that we can look at the end of the show on a decade by decade basis. So that's kind of the overall view of where we're going today. Aging, longevity, it's complex. Can we slow the process? Yeah, I think we can. I'm sure you've seen people who are in their 70s, they look like in their 40s or 50s. You've seen people in their 40s, they look like they're in their 70s. Things happen to us for reasons. And if we can identify the reasons and address them properly, I think we can slow the aging process. I've done a couple of previous talking head presentations on the hallmarks of health and aging, multiple presentations. I go into a lot of details as to what causes you to age, what causes good health. And also did some presentations on metabolic health, which I believe is absolutely critical if you want to be able to do anything in your life and have the healthy ability to respond in your retirement. You really have to concentrate on your metabolic health. That's also available. All of that stuff is on YouTube. Go to USA Global TV and Radio, and the archives are there. And when I talked about the hallmarks of aging and the hallmarks of health, two different animals, it all boiled down to lifestyle choices: our diet, our nutrition, the quality of our sleep, the ability to manage stress, the kinds and types and durations of exercise, our ability to remove toxins and exclude them from our diets, and more. So if you choose wisely, you'll be happy. But nothing happens overnight. Everything we do, we have a healthy diet today. I go out and exercise. I do this. I don't see results necessarily today. I might have a more normal blood pressure and some other things that I can monitor that looks, that's pretty good. But in reality, disease starts as chronic low-level cellular inflammation, which is controllable. But left uncontrolled, it becomes oxidation, oxidative stress, and then you start looking at DNA mutations that can't be fixed by our immune system. And then all of a sudden we start having some kind of disease or tumor or something else develop. And it takes years to find it. And even if we knew we could find it, it's impossible to identify way back when. But all of a sudden it gets up big enough where we can see it. And unless you have something you're monitoring all the time, you're not going to see it. And at some point in time, it's going to affect you. So understanding aging, what are the things that really and truly cause us to age? Well, again, I did a presentation on this and went into a lot more detail than today, but let me just talk on just a few choice topics. Cellular senescence. Senescence means old and getting older. Well, a normal process in the body is called apoptosis. That means the cell has a program. The cell starts, it's born, it has its life, and then at the end of the life, it says, okay, time to die. Boom, the cell's gone. However, not all cells obey their software commands. And at some point in time, I have the cell, it's there, it should die. The body should take care of it, get rid of it. But it doesn't. There's something happened. That cell doesn't die. It becomes what we call zombie cells. And it interferes, it creates inflammation, it creates a lot of problems in the body. Now, to a certain level, our body can get rid of it. But if those zombie cells start overtaking the body, we have problems. Telomere shortening. In my book, Longevity Secrets for Healthy Aging, I talk about telomeres the little tip end of the DNA. You have that spiral thing that wraps around. At the end, the telomere holds it together. It's like a shoelace caplet, the little plastic part, and it holds everything together. Each time that cell splits into two, replicates, you lose a little bit of that telomere. Well, when it gets too short, that's it. That's the program. It says, okay, now let's die. But it doesn't always happen that way. And sometimes our lifestyle choices, if we're obese, we're not exercising, we're stressed out, instead of taking that little amount of telomere length off each time the cell replicates, we take a bigger and bigger and bigger amount of telomere length. So we're cutting down our age, we're increasing our aging risks, and all the things that go along with it. Mitochondrial dysfunction. I'm a firm believer that you take good care of your mitochondria and you will have a healthy and safe life. But when our mitochondria are not working in a healthy manner, that's where our body gets our energy. If you're fatigued all the time, there's probably something wrong with your mitochondria, because that's where the body generates electricity, ATP. That is, if you're not at peak performance, that is an area to look at. We have another thing on understanding our aging called loss of proteostasis. In other words, I have a certain status that I have and I want to maintain it. But if things start to wander too far, I'm having problems. And a lot of these things they're inside the cell. They're misfolded proteins. The protein's supposed to be a certain structure, and it starts losing its ability to hold that structure. When it starts accumulating too many of them and we're not cleaning out our cells with autophagy, then we have a problem, and that ends up being an aging factor. I talked earlier about chronic low-level inflammation. It can create DNA mutations that cannot be fixed. We also have another process of having DNA mutations that are associated with what they call epigenetic drift. It's the change of our genes, but without having DNA mutations. And again, it's a specific aspect of our longevity, relatively easy to address because it's part of that lifestyle choice that we have all the time. Stem cell exhaustion. We have a lot of stem cells. I need new stem cells in my eyes because of something, the body sends it. I need new stem cells in my heart, in my gut, in my kidney. The body knows where it needs extra new cells. They take a stem cell and they make an eyeball cell out of it, or they make a kidney cell out of it. And the stem cells can be made into anything. But one of the problems we have is that if that stem cell process, I can't generate them when I need them, I'm exhausting everything. I don't have the ability to replace cells when I need them. So everything, I must slow down. I'm looking at repairing everything, bypass, lots and lots of things we can do. So is it achievable? Yeah. And there's a term I love to use called the only easy day was yesterday, something adopted by the Navy SEALs. I was not a Navy SEAL, I'm a Navy aviator. But if you adopt the premise in your brain, your mindset is that every day from now on is going to be harder. The only easy day was yesterday. A lot of what we're talking about today is not difficult. It really isn't. And most of the things are literally the things you do every single day. So let's get into what we should be doing on a regular basis. I want to reduce cellular damage from inflammation and oxidation. That's something we should be doing. Healthy fruits and vegetables, taking care of our immune system. Those are things that are going to stop the inflammation at the lowest level. I just took a blood test yesterday for my physical next week. The last time I did not have an annual physical was 1967. I've had annual physicals every year. CRP is one of the tests that I have run literally for the last 20 years, or actually 25, 30 years. It tells you how much inflammation you have in the body. It won't tell you where, but it'll tell you how much. I try to keep mine as close to zero as possible. And it's doable, but again, I can get some feedback and it tells me I'm doing a good job. We all know we should avoid smoking, reduce or eliminate alcohol, eliminate trans fats. We've known that for years. One of the things we didn't know was that in 1976, when they started going to ultra processed foods, UPF, all of a sudden we started getting into an epidemic of obesity. And you look at places around the world where foods were introduced that were ultra processed, they went from literally almost no obesity to 10, 20 years. They had major problems with obesity. So reduce the refined sugars, reduce your toxins. If you're not aware of your toxins, They're on the labels in most cases. Again, it's awareness. It's an education process. Reduce and manage chronic stress. Everything there literally is a lifestyle choice. We want to optimize our cellular function. If you can take good care of your mitochondria, that is absolutely paramount. I mean, that is where everything starts in the body. You take care of that, it's going to make you happy. I can do that by intermittent fasting, by prolonged fasting. I'm addressing the issues in my body. I've talked about these many, many times. Autophagy, that's the process by which the body goes into every single cell and cleans it out. I've equated it to, you're living in a home, somebody delivers food to the front door, but nobody else is allowed in. All you're allowed in is the food. So you have all the trash that never gets taken out because you can't leave. If the Wi-Fi breaks down, if the plumbing stops, if the electricity, anything in there that needs to be recycled, fixed, cleaned up, that's what autophagy does. The other side of the autophagy equation is mTOR, mammalian target of rapamycin. So we have one part of our process of our bodies to grow, that's mTOR, but we don't want to have that total because that's not helpful either. We want moderation, we want balance. So if I have a balance between my mTOR and my autophagy, I'm pretty decent. I can do that in many, many regards, but I have to have periodic fasting, balanced nutrition, caloric reduction. I'm talking about a 30% reduction in the minimum amount of calories that you need to live each day. Most nutritionists will tell you 15 calories per pound. So if you're, let's say 100 pounds, that's 1,500 calories. A 30% reduction would take it back to about 1,200 calories. Why? Because when you look at animals that are put on a caloric restricted diet, they live about 20-30% longer than their peers, and they don't have a lot of aging issues. So we think we need a lot of more calories than we do, but we need the nutrition balanced from what we do eat. Exercise, literally all types, balance, strength, flexibility, aerobic, all of those are needed. We don't need to be running 5 miles every single day. We need to have some balance in there with some other things. The primary supplements that we need, I'm going to talk about this when we get to the last slide, is CoQ10 and any kind of NAD+. It's one of those things that, it helps you can't get the NAD+ by itself. You have to get the precursors for it. Peptides, one of the ones I've been looking at recently, and I haven't ordered yet, but I'm probably going to order, that puts your mitochondrial on exponential rocket ship status, is what's called MOTS-C, and it's a peptide. In fact, I'm thinking about doing a series on peptides here coming up in the near future on Talking Heads. We need to preserve our physical health, strength training. These are the kinds of exercises: aerobic, anaerobic, balance, flexibility. Any kind of exercise is going to be beneficial, but we need to be doing it with some level of consistency. If you're doing it 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week is better. 5 times a week, obviously, is the best. You don't have to be doing it 7 days a week, depending on how you're doing your exercise. Sometimes that can be detrimental. If you're in there, you're doing strength training all the time. You want balance in your life. So maybe you go in and you do some aerobic training one day, you do upper body the next, you do balance and flexibility, then maybe you do lower body. There's lots of different ways of working around that, and your age will determine how much recovery time you need in between. Mobility, that's a big one, our ability to get from point A to point B, walking, whatever it may happen to be. But we need to be looking at something daily and weekly. What are we doing? If I'm not getting myself around, if I'm just staying on the couch all day long, that's a clue. That's not good. Bone density is another one. Again, bone density is kind of a weird one because we think we're doing everything right, but unless you're getting the right kind of absorbable calcium in your foods or a supplement, and you're getting magnesium already in the body, the calcium doesn't become very bioabsorbable. It ends up in the toilet. So if I have magnesium, I have calcium, they're in my body. I need vitamin D3 to get it out of the bloodstream so that it goes to our heart valves and muscle, to our bones. But it won't go into the bones unless I have vitamin K2. Because if I'm deficient in vitamin K2, it's going to go to my heart valves and arteries as plaque. So I get the right combination of things. I get it into my bones. But now, unless I maintain my pH at a certain level above 7.4, I start having the calcium, as soon as it gets there, it leaves because the bloodstream will leach calcium from the body. So if I look at my food choices, I have carbohydrates, I have fats, I have proteins. All of those will cause your body to be acidic. I need something that keeps my body in an alkaline mode above 7.4. So that's your fruits and vegetables primarily. So I need more fruits and vegetables than I need fat, protein, and carbohydrates. So that's a quick and dirty on that one. So pH awareness is one. You can buy the pH paper online. A lot of places just touch it to your tongue, look at the color, compare it. Okay, 7.4, I'm a happy camper. 6.9, what's my diet? But just normal metabolism will cause our bodies to become acidic. We need a lean body mass, even in old age. If I'm not, it's going to improve our chances of injury. If I have a lean body mass, I'm reducing the option of frailty as I get older. But consistency is an absolute requirement. Whatever you're doing has to be maintained. Okay. Cognitive and emotional health. We think about physical health when we think of the word health, but we also need to maintain this part up here. Lifelong learning keeps that cognitive part going. Meditation, relationships. As we get older, we find out that relationships are a lot stronger indicator of old age health than almost anything else. Yeah, you have all the other things you do regularly, but if you're isolated in your room by yourself, that has a tendency to really and truly defeat the purpose of having a nice, healthy, older age. Having meaningful purpose in life. Why are we here? What are we doing? What am I giving back? Managing our stress effectively. What you did to manage stress 5 years ago may not be enough today. You may need to be doing something in addition to that. I did a topic here, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, on the vagus nerve. That's the one that runs down your back. It's the one that talks between your brain and just about every organ in the body. It's the conversation that, okay, I need this, I need that. The brain turns on this and that. It turns on a lot of stuff. But if the nerve is not activated properly, we start having problems. Again, fatigue is one of those little symptoms that if I'm tired all the time, there's probably something wrong. Is it my diet? Is it my vagus nerve? I don't know. But there's a lot of things you can do to activate it, reset it, maintain it, enhance it. Again, go onto my YouTube channel. I'll go onto the USA Global TV and Radio Network YouTube channel, and I had a recent Talking Heads topic on the vagus nerve. Cardiometabolic health, monitoring, maintaining our proper blood pressure, cholesterol levels, CRP, reactive protein. That's the one blood test that tells you how much inflammation you have in the body. Triglycerides, a lot of that comes from sugar and alcohol. We want to have that as low as possible. HbA1c, that's the one that diabetics, that's one doctors use to determine, have you crossed that line where now you're diabetic? So you're up there in that area. Maybe a pre-diabetic. A lot of things can be done. You can change that status of pre-diabetic back to non-diabetic, generally within a month. That's a pretty simple thing to do. But again, you have to look at your diet and exercise to make the biggest impact. Homocysteine levels used to be Medicare covered that. It was one of the blood tests I get every year. But then all of a sudden I get a bill from some lab because it's no longer covered. So now I had all my blood tests yesterday except for homocysteine. That's one I need to go out to a private lab, get my homocysteine level checked. That's probably something that's going to happen later today or worst case tomorrow because my annual physical is next Tuesday. So I get my homocysteine. That's probably, it used to be the gold standard for heart health, but it's been replaced by another one, the omega 6 to omega 3 ratio. But it's still a very good gold standard in most cases. Vitamin K3, no, it should be vitamin D3 levels. That's an error. That should be vitamin D3 levels. I like to keep mine above 100 nanograms per milliliter because that's, your body needs that and the immune system needs it. Everything is predicated on how much vitamin D we absorb. But it really needs to be well above 50. Gut health optimization, prebiotics, probiotics, fiber, both soluble and insoluble, fermented foods. They all work to optimize our gut health. Our gut is considered our second brain. The communications between the gut and the brain is unbelievable. A lot of chemicals made in the gut are some of the same chemicals made in the brain. So it's a relationship. If your gut is not good, your brain is going to suffer. If your brain's not good, chances are it's caused by your gut. Our immune system is part of our gut. 80% of our immune system is our gut. So we need to do a lot of things there to maintain a good immune system. There's also another saying that your calf muscles are your second heart. You need something to pump that blood from the lower part of your body back up to the heart. It may not be a long journey, but the stronger your calf muscles are, the faster that blood gets back up to the heart. Optimize the quality of your sleep. Why? Because all the repairs that are done to your body are done when you're sleeping. You get to sleep, and that's when the body goes into overdrive, fixing the stuff that needs to be repaired. Aligning our sleep with our circadian rhythm. They say most of the time you need 7 to 9 hours. Everybody's a little different. Some may survive on 4, some may need 10 or more. But your sleep duration should be fairly consistent. The time you go to sleep, the time you wake up, some level of consistency. Morning light exposure in most articles I read nowadays is really good about aligning your circadian rhythm with your metabolic rhythm. Blue light exposure, if you have that prior to going to bed, it has a tendency to disrupt the going to sleep time and the ability to do it in a timely manner and efficient manner. Eating after dark. In other words, I'm eating and I go to bed, may have a problem going to sleep. Alcohol will definitely interrupt. A glass, probably not a big deal. It'll be taken care of, metabolized pretty quickly. But you have a couple, 3 or 4 glasses of wine before you go to bed. Chances are you may wake up at 2:07 in the morning, wide awake and wondering what happened. Well, when you have alcohol, it shuts down your digestion. If you ate a big meal, had a lot of alcohol, chances are you could wake up in the middle of the night and why am I awake? That's the reason. Temperature of your sleeping, reading before you're going to bed, watching TV in bed. Again, you have a factor of I sleep in this bed, but I also read in this bed. I also watch TV in this bed. You're not equating your mindset and your body to just sleeping in the bed. Sleep aids have some benefits, but they also have some problems. So be aware of that. A lot of information on Google. Hormone, endocrine balance. Balance is critical in all aspects of our life. So I can have natural support to maintain my hormone balance. I'm talking about my thyroid, the testosterone, estrogen, insulin, cortisol. There's lots of them out there, more than you would even think. But I need to have them balanced because when everything's balanced, our bodies are working pretty well. I need hydration. I need weight management. I don't need to be 40 pounds overweight forever. Healthy fats. I need the omega-3s. I need some omega-6s, but I don't need near as many as are currently available in the standard American diet. Nutrient balance. We already talked about that. Autophagy. That's your body cleaning the cells internally. Some people end up with medication dependency. Talk to your doctor. How can I get off this medicine? What are other options out there? Do yourself a Google search. How is this medicine? How was it derived? What natural options are there? If you're on blood pressure medicine, maybe it's backing off on food, losing some weight, increasing your exercise. Lots of things that you can research and talk to your doctor about. Don't do it by yourself. Talk to your doctor first. Lifestyle choices. Do when possible the things that really make sense. Regular monitoring, drug prevention. I prefer not to be on any drugs. My wife, the same age I am, she's never been. She obviously been on drugs, but we're not on a everyday regimen. I've had some eye problems. I have 3 drops I have to take every day. It is what it is. But my heart issues that I have came from Agent Orange in Vietnam. Not much I can do about that. But I'm still looking for ways. How can I get off of what I'm on? It's a target that I'm setting for myself. All the drugs come from some nature issue. Plant, herb, whatever. What are they? You can't not trademark them, patent them. So there's no interest in pharmaceutical companies trying to tell you this plant is the one that will take care of that. But there are a lot of natural options. Sometimes your doctor or pharmacist knows, but most of the time they don't. That's not their area of specialty. Lifestyle enhancements. Okay. Nutrition. Avoid all, that should be ultra processed food, okay. Natural foods as best you can. Intermittent fasting, prolonged fasting. Ketogenic with the understanding that you need to monitor your pH. There's no reason you can't have a keto style, but loaded heavy with fruits and vegetables. Exercise, high intensity interval training, sometimes using resistance bands, vibrations. I have a big vibrating machine I stand on at least 10 minutes every day. Great for the vagus nerve and other parts. Rebounder. The brain, meditation, journaling, new learning, lots of things there. The environment. I did a talk recently on microplastics in water. Didn't realize how bad it was with just everything that's out there. I'm in the process of selecting a new water filter that will filter out microplastics. The methods we cook. Advanced glycation end products is a product of too high a temperature, the charring that we have on a lot of things. They all have a factor in our body and our health. Going to sleep. Get yourself a set of glasses. I have a set right here for my computer. They're blue light blockers. Knowing about alcohol, food, timing before we go to bed. Wearing a mask where it cuts out all light. Supplements. Again, focus on the mitochondrial. Focus on your gut. Stress. Again, we really need to manage it. There's many, many ways. Breathing. Hot and cold therapy. Gratitude's a great one. Emotional freedom techniques, EFT. Prevention, regular checkups. Like I say, the last time I did not have an annual physical was 1967. I had 31 of them in the military, and I've had one every year since then through my civilian doctor. Continuous glucose monitoring. Talk to your doctor about that. You don't have to be a diabetic to get one, but it will tell you in real terms, what is your body doing when you exercise, when you eat? Get a body composition. It's a weight, machine that will measure a dozen or more different functions going on in your body. Know your limitations. We have a 25-year-old brain. It doesn't get any older than that, but we may have a 70-year-old body, and sometimes our brain talks us into silly things. Avoid smoking, alcohol. We all know that. Avoid recreational drugs, the ultra-processed foods, chronic stress, social isolation. Again, avoid sedentary lifestyle. Environmental toxin, everything there is common sense. Again, over time, medication we use, our body acclimates. We may have to increase it over time. Talk to your doctor. Is there a better way of going? Self-monitoring, kind of keep tabs on what's the quality of your sleep, your mood, your energy levels, your physical activity. The stress markers, eating habits, sleeping problems. Once or twice a period, things are going to happen. But if you're having difficulty going to sleep every night, and you're thinking about the same thing, that's a clue. Relationship issues. Are you complaining more about things? Increased use of relaxants. Relaxants may have a purpose, but again, if it's something you're putting in your mouth, comfort food, comfort drug, maybe that's not what you need. You can do weekly things, your weight, your waist measurement, your strength ability. You can do to monitor blood pressure, resting heart rate variability, body composition. Those are the things the analyzer, you stand on it, it runs a current through you and gives you things. Medical monitoring, the annual physicals, examinations, cardiovascular baseline, your dental, your hearing, your vision. Those are all things that ought to be checked periodically. Again, what is your balance in your life? Do I have a purpose? Are you helping somebody? Are you learning something? Is it more in a personal need, or are you in a professional end of things? What are you doing that adds purpose and meaning to your life? That get that good feeling that you give because you're giving back part of your life to society. Relationships, our ability to have social intercourse on a daily basis, our bonding with other people. One of the guests I had on earlier today, her husband, they were married for 25 years. He came down with cancer. She came down with cancer 6 months later. He passed away. And again, she is super into gratitude. Gratitude, Thanksgiving, joy. Each one of them is a little bit different. But sometimes, we travel, we learn new skills. But overall, we're very, very thankful for everything that's going on. Resilience, our ability to adapt, our ability to keep a positive mindset. Let's take a look now at what things, as I'm growing up, I might want to spend just a little bit more awareness on. In my 20s and 30s, let's establish some benchmarks. My GP, when I was 71, So let's get a cardiovascular benchmark. He sent me to my cardiologist, and I went through a whole bunch of tests. So I have the benchmark, and that paid off because a couple, 3 years later, I didn't have a problem, and then boom, things happened. And again, it's just that Agent Orange and other things don't happen overnight. It takes a long time for them to be measurable and to actually have something. So I can't measure it, and then all of a sudden I can measure it. So habit awareness. What are my good habits and bad habits? It's a good time to start fasting. I do a 72-hour fast every month. 30s and 40s, more exercise, more fiber, CRP, inflammation, awareness of my pH, my cardiovascular health, my vagus nerve. 40s and 50s, tracking your sleep, your mental health, your stress management, balance, flexibility, benchmarks for vision, dental, hearing. 50s and 60s. This is absolutely mandatory to me, mitochondrial function, my focus on that, my balance of my nutrition that I'm taking in. Autophagy awareness, getting my cells clean. Cognitive decline, being able to prevent it as much as I can. New hobbies, learning new things, deepen relationships. Again, try to get some benchmark reviews in areas that are starting to change. 60s and 70s, lower impact exercise, concentration a lot on balance and strength, nutrition, our gut, our sleep, and cognitive assessment. 60s and 70s, functional fitness assessment. Again, a little bit different than what we've been doing before. Our gait is not going to be as good as it was. Our grip strength is going to be waning. And grip strength is a very good indicator of old age health. Medication review, our brain health awareness, bone density. These are all things that, again, are more prevalent to know about and do something about in our 60s and 70s. We want to have balance in life, all areas of our life, so we can assess and adapt what we need to change as needed. Our 70s and 80s, exercise safety, really big deal. Balance, super critical. Digestion awareness, a lot of problems with our guts usually start getting older. Relationships, functional mobility. Can I get up out of a chair and walk to the car? And just having joy in life. That is really and truly a big deal. 80s and 90s, lighter resistance, more stretching and balance. Hydration, critical, super critical. Mitochondrial support, bone and vascular support. You start getting up there toward the age of the centenarians, the 90s and 100s. And we want to avoid social isolation. We want to make sure our digestion is as good as it's going to get. Our emotional control, our reflection, gratitude, expectations. Expectations leads a lot of if we expect to be happy, we generally are. So they say lower your expectations and your happiness goes up. But we have the ability to set our expectations and make adjustments. A lot of wearables out there for health. I can put something on my arm. I can get a machine to stand on. But wearables are out there, and they're improving immensely every single day. Getting our labs, our benchmarks, our awareness of our cognition, et cetera. Can you live to 100 years of age in good health? I believe so. I really do. But I think you really need to concentrate on your mitochondrial health. PQQ, pyrroloquinone, NMM, CoQ10, they all are precursors for NAD+. Astaxanthin, resveratrol, taurine. The resveratrol, again, you have to make sure you have piperine, black pepper extract in there to make it more bioavailable. But it activates the SIRT2 pathway, which is a longevity pathway. Something that we've talked about that. I've talked about that quite a bit in my aging discussions and health discussions. AMPK is one of the other pathways, and so if I get my SIRT2 and my AMPK activated and strong, then what else do I need? Dihydroberberine is far more effective, 6 to 10 times more effective than just plain berberine. Glycine is a precursor to glutathione. They call it a master antioxidant in the body. Quercetin, again, you need the black pepper extract. Physin. These are both super good molecules, products that fight Senelex. This is aging processes in the body. And lately, and again, this is just something I came up with this week, methylene blue, MOTS-C, and BPC 157. The MOTS-C and the BPC 157 are peptides, and I'll be going into a lot more detail down the road. But those three things really and truly do wonders for your metabolic health. And with that, I am going to call it quits today, and I look forward to our next conversation a week from today. Bye now.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.